With Liquor Barn, you can shop your favorite bourbon, that perfect bottle of wine, or discover something new. To place an order for pickup or delivery, download the Liquor Barn app, visit liquorbarn.com, or call your nearest Liquor Barn location. Follow us on social media and subscribe to our email list for all the latest news on products, promotions, and events. Liquor Barn, where Kentuckians go to celebrate life. Cheers!
Welcome to the Bourbon Life Podcast, your source for all things bourbon. Join your hosts, Mark and Matt, as they drink and review bourbons, share news about upcoming events, interview the who's who in the bourbon world, and, most importantly, bring you along for the fun of living the bourbon life. Now, here's your hosts, Mark and Matt.
All right, everybody, welcome back for another episode of the Bourbon Life Podcast. I'm your host, Mark, and with me here tonight live in the Bourbon Life Studios around the flights of the round rectangular table, it's my good friends, Chad.
Hey, what is up?
We got Matt.
Hey, what's up, Mark?
Down at the end of the table around the cameras. And Philip, what's up, man?
Glad to be here.
Glad to be here. Doesn't he sound excited?
Don't have any excitement.
Way to sell it.
Wow, dude.
Woo.
Yeah.
During the intro, Philip's all like looking at it.
Yeah, I know. It's like,
Checking out a nail.
I'm here again.
I'm here.
Well, I know I'm looking at my phone, but I'm like, what's going to be the right filter to use for this bottle?
Yeah, so
let's influence.
hey, before we do it, I guess I want to thank all our sponsors. So
Absolutely.
yeah, thank you guys, everything they do for us. We appreciate all their assistance, all their work, everything they do. And we also, we're gonna make this show really kind of a recap, right? Because we were all at the Kentucky Bourbon Festival this past weekend, so I think we're going to talk about the experience we had. We were the preferred podcast of the Kentucky Bourbon Festival this year, so we're really excited about that partnership with them and love working with those guys. Randy Prossi, who we just had on the show a month or so ago, and then Steve Coombs, who does their programming and educational work. Just a couple great guys, and the whole team, that Dave Mandel, the chairman, Stacy Pritchard, who does a lot of their work behind the scenes as well. So love what those guys are doing, and we're just thrilled to be a partner with them. So I think with that said, we're going to
Randy is someone I did not see the entire. I assume he was
there. I saw
running a mile a minute, so I wouldn't expect him to be out.
Didn't see him.
Shaking babies and kissing
2 days
hands.
did not see him. Yeah. So I saw a picture. Somebody posted a picture of him. And
he was there.
He had like a floppy bucket hat and sunglasses on. So I may not even recognize him if I actually saw him, but he was there. But yeah, man, it was kind of weird because it hit me today. I'm like, crap, I didn't even see Randy. And I saw Steve like briefly.
Yeah,
he walked through
deal.
the crowd and it's like, hey, and then that was it. But yeah, so we're gonna talk about that. That'll be a lot of fun. But we've got 3 different things. We've each brought something. Actually, Chad's stuff is so awesome. We're gonna drink it off camera, probably after the show. So anyway.
I was just thinking we probably should have picked things from the festival, like new things we haven't tried yet, or like a brand we had not.
Yeah.
Like support the people that we're about to talk about. But
that's true. You know what? That's a good point.
Bad planning. Really, you know what? There's always next year.
Yeah,
that's why I told everyone I made plans with and didn't go see. It was like, there's next year.
Yeah, next year. There's always going to be next year. So, and we're recording with the Nomanos tonight, Matt. I'm getting to plug in for Nomano, even though they're not a sponsor. Maybe we can work on that, right?
As much as you talk about them.
Yeah, the Nomano sound capsule. So no headphones, Chad. I'm sorry.
I know it's weird.
No Shure SM7B microphones sitting there in front of us, man. So
see, now we're all going to get too comfortable.
I know it's going to be
headphones on. You know you're being recorded.
Yeah. And then we forget.
Now
we forget what we're
there's
doing.
a microphone.
Yeah, this could be bad. That's true. I need to maybe reconsider. We'll see how this episode.
Man, we just need to wear the headphones just for
not even
one of those.
Plugged in.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where it's just like
just earmuffs. Just wear
earmuffs.
Yeah, exactly.
Just to make us feel like we're actually doing something important.
Yeah. Well, hopefully this will work. Hopefully we won't forget what we're doing. Hopefully, since we're around the flights of the round tables, that's always the good reminder. So Matt, you brought something that's going to be our first pour of the night, correct?
Someone who was not at the KBF.
Yeah, Matt was there, but the brand wasn't.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about me.
No.
You had me thinking.
I know you were there.
No, I was definitely there.
Matt was there.
I mean, at least I remember being there one day.
Yeah.
The second one.
Yeah, exactly. I brought a little bit of Rocky Mountain water here. This is Stranahan's Sherry Oak single malt whiskey. So Stranahan's out of Denver, Colorado. This is a sherry finish in an Oloroso cask out of Andalusia, Spain, aged a minimum of 7 years and batched, bottled at 94 proof. So in the heart of Denver, Stranahan's mountain whiskey.
Very nice. And who was it? Rob Dietrich, right? The guy that's with Blackened Whiskey now.
He got started with Stranahan's.
Yeah.
He used to be with Stranahan's.
And he was responsible for their big Snowflake.
That's
yeah,
right.
their big annual release that everybody lines up for.
Yeah, Rob was a good guy, man. Good guest. And working with Blackened Whiskey with Metallica now, because Dave Pickerel was actually working with them. And then after Dave passed, I needed somebody. So Rob came over, took over the reins for that. But yeah, so happy to have Stranahan's. Even though they weren't at the Kentucky Bourbon Festival.
Maybe next year, Stranahan's.
There you go. Yeah, good luck with that, right? So
Which
it's not
this
even
isn't even a bourbon, so.
I know. What are we
single
doing?
malt.
Matt's trying to lead us down the single malt. We're going to become the single malt life, I think. So
Variety is the spice of life.
there you
That's
go.
right. We can do some
Speaking
special
of,
episodes.
Speaking of spice, Chad? What do you pick up on the nose on this one? Man?
On the nose, I got a ton of berry. It's like blackberry, blueberry, chocolate. There's a little bit of a mustiness from the malt. Good tobacco notes. I love the nose. If it wasn't for that the malt grain, the mustiness that you get from the malt grain, I would think this is just a really old finished bourbon. I mean, like you definitely can tell it's wine influenced, but it does not smell 7 years. It smells 15 years. It's got a ton of age to it. It's really complex. I love the nose.
Yeah.
I think it's really good. I also get a little hint of like some black licorice. It's subtle, but
Yeah.
What about you, Matt? What are you picking up?
I got to echo what everybody's been saying so far. I also get some graham cracker, a little bit of raisin on as well, like
the dried
almost
fruit,
like raisin bran type aromas. I think the malt really shines through. I bet the nose on this would be incredible at cask strength.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's right. This is 94 proof.
This is 94
Yeah,
proof. So
this
this
is
will come
crazy.
down a little bit. I bet.
Yeah.
this would be.
I bet out of the barrel, this would be just really bright, really fruity and juicy.
You know, it's kind of funny. At first, when I first poured it in the glass and took a nose, it almost had like a maple syrupy type of aroma.
It's definitely
to it.
more decadent. And then like as it's,
Yeah.
I've swirled it for like 5 minutes straight.
Right.
But yeah, it's definitely more decadent.
I tell you what it reminded me of, and it's so weird to say it, but it almost reminded. It was reminiscent of Angel's Envy rye that's finished in the rum cask. Man, it was just like It was so weird when I first nosed it, because I'm like, man, that smells so similar to that. But now those notes are coming through the wine, the influence of those wine casks coming through, getting the berry, the raisin, like you said, Matt. But then also you were talking about the malt. But to me, it's like Raisin Bran. I mean, that reminds me of my mom's cereal when I was a kid, because she loved Raisin Bran, and that is exactly
Ain't nothing wrong with Raisin Bran.
not at all. But that's what she ate for breakfast, like every morning. So that aroma is ingrained in my
Got to stay regular.
memory. Yeah.
all about that
Thanks,
fiber.
Mark. Fortunately, my parents don't listen to the podcast. So, all right, guys. So let's talk a little bit about the festival. Let's talk a lot about the festival. Because the whole show is going to be.
Let's start with day one.
Let's start about day. Well, I tell you what.
Do we want to even start Friday? I mean, the festival
here's what I'm
started
gonna do.
Friday, but
I wasn't there for all the Thursday.
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start with Wednesday, because Wednesday night I got to go down to Springfield, Kentucky, and Denny Potter and Jane Bowie had a field party for their brand new distillery. So they released the name, and it's going to be called Potter Jane.
Is it really going to be called that, or is that just like a licensing thing that they're holding on to?
When they first announced it, they were like, we don't have a name, we're calling it J&D. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Is that everybody calling it J&D Distilling?
Yeah.
So we showed up and I almost wore a hat, but yeah, I mean, they had hats, the signs, shirts, everything.
I know their merch looks
Cups,
nice.
everything says Potter Jane. So the Potter Jane Distilling Company. So I was like,
It
man,
does kind of have like that, like 1950s
Yeah, it
whiskey,
does have
like
a
brand
whiskey
vibe.
now.
Yeah.
It does, but it sounds very similar to another brand that's out of New York. That we've had on the show before. So that was one thing my wife was like,
Heaven Hill, Heaven Store.
yeah, well, there you go. That's true.
They'll come up with a story. It was a lover left one and died, and they moved to Kentucky and started a new distillery. It'll be a whole
But
thing.
it was a great event. It was outside at the site. And,
Beautiful weather it looked like.
Gorgeous weather, man. Just great facility. I mean, well, nothing's there, but I mean, a great location. Great
field. Beautiful field.
Well,
Just-
but here's the thing: they had live music set up. The food was catered. I mean, it was top notch. It wasn't just like a bag of chips and some dips that somebody put out like a field
I like that.
party.
Like catered's now a level. That's almost like a slang word. Like the food was catered, man.
Well, I mean, when you go to a field party, because I'm expecting this, I'm like, the invitation
hot
says,
dogs?
Like hot
in
dogs.
Washington County, they could have got away with just hot dogs. And
Exactly
turkey.
right.
Making
I mean, I'm like,
hobo packets of foil and throwing them on a campfire.
Give you a slice of
Come back in
bologna.
45 minutes. Your food will be done.
You get a piece of bologna and a stick, and you just put it on over the fire, and you just make you some fried bologna or
All right,
something.
Flatwoods.
Yeah, Flatwood's coming out. That's right. But man, I mean, it was great. Music, games. They had done their own beer. So Denny and Jane actually had pitched their own beer with Scout and Scholar. It's called Stay Tuned was the name of the beer.
Okay.
So they actually had that on tap, and Scout and Scholar was out there pouring beers for everybody. Funny thing, we pull in, this little old man's walking out the end of the parking lot, and he's got this kind of gruff voice, and he's like, "You like beer?" And I'm like, look at me, man. I'm like, yeah, of course I like beer. He goes, "You like whiskey?" I'm like, "Yeah, I like whiskey." He goes, "Come over here." So we go back to the back of this big, huge, beautiful Cadillac, and he pops the
And then
trunk.
somebody says whiskey. Mark's like, all right, where are we going?
Where are we going?
Yeah.
Has a handle of Old Forester 86 in the back of his car and in his trunk. And he has 2 cups. He's like, "You want a cup?" I'm like, "Well, sure, man." So he pours it up and he starts talking. He goes, "Oh, I'm Denny's uncle." I was like, this is so awesome, man. I can't wait to tell Denny that I met his uncle.
Drinking Old Fo 86 in the back of his Cadillac.
Old Fo out of a handle in his trunk. But that was the way my night started off. But it was an awesome event, man. So I'm thrilled for Denny and Jane. Looking forward to, and if you ever hear them talk, we've had them on the show together, and they're like brother and sister. It's really funny how they go at each other. But it's really gonna be exciting to see what they do. But I just want to throw that there because that was a lot of
The
fun.
rendering of their new distillery looked
yeah,
huge.
pictures.
It looks
Yeah.
like it's going to be a big facility.
Yeah, I can't remember what the size is going to be, and I don't remember how many acres. They got a ton of acreage out there too, man. 100 some acres, I believe, and they're already working on 3 or 4 rick houses.
Well, there's going to be a lot of distilleries out there. Willet's putting a second one in.
Yeah.
They're putting theirs out there.
Michter's,
Yeah. I forgot about Michter's.
same place, right? That same
then
location.
there's-
Michter's.
Is there another one?
At the same location or close to?
I think. Well, when you pull off Corporate Drive, there's a sign that says
That's going to
Michter's
be like a whole
complex
Distillery. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what needs to happen. Some like big land investor needs to just buy and pitch to a bunch of places and make it
I think somebody did it because they're going to build
the
several out there, man.
Epcot,
So
Disney World,
Well, 'cause it was like-
Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
once I heard
Combo.
about it, it was like I heard about not just like Denny and Jane. It was like it wasn't just one distillery. It was like, oh, here's like 5 that are coming out here, or like it's 4 distilleries and like a little party spot or something. I can't remember, but yeah, it's like I think someone did do that because
Nice.
it's going to be cool. I mean, it's and like you said, the renderings they're on the Instagram and Facebook. I posted pictures of those on there. So if anybody wants to go check that out, they can. But yeah, man, so super excited. Very thankful that they invited me to come out to that. But the invitation is like field party. Wear farm casual clothes.
so you showed up in your best blazer.
I did not, no. And it said wear shoes that you don't mind to get dirty. So I'm like, okay, I'm thinking we're going to go out and walk around in a bunch of mud or something. I didn't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna
what
walk
to
down
do.
the creek a little bit.
Didn't know what the deal was, but it was great.
It was a real field party.
It was a real field party, and even though there weren't necessarily kegs tapped, it was a beer cart, the big cooler with the taps on the side of the trailer. So lots of beer flowing and lots of food, man. So it was a good time. So anyway, so on to Thursday, a lot of things. We were at the Barrel Craft Spirits, right?
Yeah,
They
that
did
started the day.
Yeah,
That was-
What'd you guys think of that?
I wasn't there.
He wasn't there.
Oh, that's right.
you and I.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
We were at the Barrel Craft Spirits thing.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I enjoyed that.
Some people had to go to work.
yeah. I was gonna say some guys are working, right? So
Yeah, that was my work. I enjoyed it. Bigger turnout than I expected. One, I sat in the parking lot for I saw 20 minutes till I finally was just like, why are people getting waved to the back? Like, where the hell is this at? And I was texting Ned, and I'm like, where do I go? And
yeah,
he's like, around back.
Yeah.
So that threw me off. But beautiful facility. I mean, they've got how many? They've got what is it, 6 or 7 blending tanks.
tanks are huge, right?
Huge.
Yeah, I was like they're probably 25, 30 feet tall.
I don't know if I have a picture of them.
But it was it was crazy, man.
I know
It's
my
a beautiful.
camera
It's a not beautiful facility. It's a great facility. I mean, there's so
There's
much.
one.
Oh, wow.
They were talking about the capacity and things, and it was just.
Yeah, they got 6 of those.
Where is it at?
It's off of.
Don't ask me.
It's in Louisville, though, right?
It is in
Yeah,
Louisville.
it is in Louisville.
It's over there close to what's that church? Southeast whatever, the big church off the interstate. It's
Right there on Blankenbaker?
It's right off of Blankenbaker. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's really close to that. Some old outdoor furniture store that they bought the warehouse, and that's what they're using now.
Yeah, I mean they've got. I mean it's clean, it's modern, it's crisp. I mean they've got a speakeasy in there, they've got a bar in there, they've got like 2 retail stores in there.
Yeah.
They let us go through and see like the blending lab. They let us go through and look at all the blending components, and they were like take pictures of everything. Like,
Yeah.
did you go through those labs?
I did not get to do that because I went ahead and took off because after that, it was on down to Bardstown because Kentucky Owl was having a release party as well. So that was for their new, it's called Master, but it's spelled.
No, it's Mister. It's spelled Maester. It's like Meester or something.
I thought they pronounce it it's called Mister, but it means like master because it was master blenders.
Yeah.
So it was paying homage to them. So they've got a new master blender. John Ray's stepped aside or is retiring. So and I'm drawing a blank on her name. I should have looked it up.
Where are your show notes?
Matt, I don't make show notes with you guys because you guys make fun of me. But yeah, somebody can look that up, and I forgot. But anyway, but it was a cool event. The whiskey was okay. I mean, I wasn't like blown away by it. But she blended it was bourbon, and she blended it to taste similar to a Scotch.
No, she blended it to in the style of a Scotch, not to taste like a Scotch.
Okay, but I think they blended it with because it's international. It's going to be an international release,
Right.
so I think their goal is to
It's
blend
kind of went over both, like get the high end market in Europe and Asia and that kind of stuff into American whiskey kind of slowly with a premium experience.
which means that it's going to have similar notes to a Scotch to some extent, and
I think it tastes like a bourbon.
it will pull Scotch drinkers into bourbon like they did last year with the Japanese type release, and I can't remember what the name of that one was.
Takumi.
But the goal of that one, they said, was also to get people who were drinking Japanese whiskey to experience what bourbon was.
They were pouring that at the event.
Were they really?
Yeah, I thought it was really good.
Oh,
It was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Takumi?
Yeah.
It's either Takumi or Takami. I can't remember.
The red
But I feel
label.
Takami, maybe.
I feel like Takami is like an anime. I don't know. I should ask
Yeah.
Eric Smith.
But it was a good event. It was at their facility there in Bardstown, their actual office, their real property offices there in Bardstown. Small space, but again, kind of nice finger foods and stuff. But it was great. They had a lot of the
had steak
the
on
big
Wednesday.
dogs. Yeah, you had a party. Oh, we can't talk about that though, can we? Or can you? Oh no, you were talking about.
I'm talking about Kentucky Owl.
Right.
My event on Wednesday.
Yeah. You went because they had something Wednesday
We had something
night.
for Wednesday. Yeah.
Okay.
And we had it was like filet and shit for us.
Yeah, we didn't have filet at this event, unfortunately.
You
I'm
can
on
pick
the
it up
wrong-
with your fingers.
Me and Matt
but-
were
I'm on the
eating out
wrong
of the vending
list.
machine.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Okay, so then Thursday night, though, we got to hang out. Matt was there.
I
right?
was, yeah.
Yeah. So tell everybody what we did.
Do we want to, where are we at time-wise?
Oh, yeah, 17. Yeah, you know what? Let's talk about
Finish this one out and we can
we'll
pick
come
up
back
Thursday
and,
night.
and then go into Friday.
yeah,
That'll work.
same
All
Friday
right,
and
what do
then
you guys
Saturday.
get on the palate? And Matt, go ahead. I'll let you.
Oh, no, I have someone
Chad,
else.
go ahead because you just finished yours off there.
I did. A little ginger spice on the front, clove. Same blackberry, blueberry, like fresh berry notes that I got on the nose, on the palate. Tons of like dark chocolate, like very like high cacao chocolate. I can't remember. You said licorice. Was it? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like a thin layer in there, like of that build of licorice, but it's from front to back, beginning to end of licorice. And I'm usually not a huge licorice fan when it's that constant, but it actually really works with this. I like it. I like American single malts, but I think this is really well done. I think finishing's great. Would love to see it at cast strength.
Yeah. Philip, what do you think?
I second everything Chad said. It's really good. I mean, I would definitely, I would not hesitate to buy a bottle of this for,
How much was it?
How much was it, Matt?
I paid, I think, 69, 65, 69.
Yeah, that's a definite for it.
Yeah, it's very
Yeah,
good.
I'll do that.
I would do that.
It's
Matt,
got a nice long finish too. It's good.
Finish is great.
what do you think, Matt?
Yeah, it's good. It's got, on the the palate I thought for me was a little bit more of that malty flavor. You get the malted barley right up front, the chocolate. I picked up a lot of chocolate when we were talking about it. And then we were talking, I don't know if you both were thinking black licorice, but to me it's kind of red licorice.
I'm saying black licorice,
Yeah, it was
like
black
that.
to me.
It's like, it has a sweetness to me. It's like sweet cherry, red licorice, like jam, kind of a jammy fruit.
Yeah, it does
flavor.
have what the jam note I get is like the and I don't want to like knock any store brand, but like a store brand, like an artificially flavored, like quintessential but still jammy. I don't know. That's like when I think of the flavor I'm getting, that's what I think of. I don't know if you're getting that or not.
Yeah, similar to that. I'm pleased with it. I bought this completely blind, not having known anything about it, and just wanted to give it a go.
Marcus, what do you think?
You know, it's funny because the chocolate came through for me.
Yeah, and there was no chocolate on the nose, I didn't think.
No, but the first taste, I was like, oh, damn, you know, there it is. But I also got almost like a hint of like black tea
I see that.
on the finish. You guys are talking about licorice. To me, I kind of get like a spiciness, but it's not a licorice spiciness, but there's a spicy finish to it that's not really like pepper, and it's not like cinnamon. I don't know what that spiciness.
It reminds me of like ginger. Like
maybe that's
like a
when you
ginger,
say
like
ginger,
like
that's
ginger
how it's
beer.
like, yeah.
Like,
It does have that ginger beer type burn.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense. I'm glad you said that because that clarifies to me, and that's a great descriptor.
Yeah, because I didn't get pepper either, but yeah, definitely.
And
Yeah.
it drinks hotter than
It drinks hotter than 94 proof, I think.
but it's not like an unpleasant like it's
No,
not even
I
burn
would've
you
thought
up,
like 100
but
proof,
yeah, it's
yeah.
got a nice good
good
mouthfeel.
tannins to it. Like it's not overly drying. It's got good, like oily mouthfeel. It's viscous.
Yeah. But
I like
yeah,
it a
the
lot.
chocolate and then that little bit of that tea on the finish is like a black tea.
Yeah, I think it'd be a devil straight out of the barrel.
I agree.
I love
That'd
to
be
have that.
fun.
So
Stranahan's
that's
cask
obviously
strength.
four thumbs up on this one, correct? Yeah. So we're all gonna buy this.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, fixture for sure.
Fixture,
Yeah,
for
fixture,
sure.
yeah.
Awesome. Well, guys, we're at the end of round one. So why don't we take a quick break, get a word from our sponsors, and we'll be back with more with the Bourbon Life Crew in just a minute.
The Stave Restaurant is a bourbon lover's paradise right here in the heart of bourbon country. Located at 5711 McCracken Pike in Millville, Kentucky, between Castle and Key and Woodford Reserve, Chef Kyle Klatka prepares amazing food each day that features an elevated Kentucky-inspired cuisine. With a full-service bar, great bourbon flights, and signature cocktails, the Stave is the perfect place to catch up with friends after a fun-filled day of touring the local distilleries. Be sure to check them out online at thestavekentucky.com or at Instagram and Facebook at The Stave Kentucky. Three Chord's line of whiskeys embody the spirit of creativity. The whiskey is a true collaboration between producer and composer Neil Giraldo and master blender distiller Ari Sussman. The Three Chord team of expert blenders, coopers, and sensory professionals have developed a multi-step process they call Perfectly Tuned Taste. This process begins by carefully selecting the finest bourbon and rye whiskeys from Kentucky, Tennessee, and Indiana, and then blending them together. Find out more about the whiskeys and distribution in your area at www.threechordbourbon.com.
All right, everybody, welcome back for round two of the Bourbon Life Podcast. I'm your host, Mark, and with me here live tonight in the Bourbon Life Studios, otherwise known as my basement, it's my good friends, Philip.
Is that enough energy this time?
Yes, sir. Thank you, man.
Nice.
Philip with the major comeback for round two. That's awesome.
I'm rallying.
You
Matt?
took my thing, man.
Matt is also here.
I'm here. Also.
You are. I'm glad you're with us tonight, Matt.
Oh, thank you.
Glad you're hanging in there, man.
Yeah, you're
Glad
not sick
We
of
all
me
had a
after.
long weekend.
we had a long
yeah.
weekend. There's no question
Everyone
about
had a
that.
long
Chad,
weekend.
welcome.
Whoop whoop.
There you go. And hey, I'm Mark.
Yeah, Philip took my little air horn thing, but
Sorry, man.
yeah.
All right. So this round, Philip, you brought this one. So
Yes.
tell everybody what you got poured
So
up.
we are drinking the Ezra Brooks 99 proof, no age statement, so it's at least 4 years old. Distilled and aged in Kentucky for Lex Road Distillers, Bardstown, Kentucky.
Which means, what are we thinking? Where do we think it may be from?
Well, it's contract distilled, probably from a place in Bardstown.
Yeah. That starts with a H and ends with a.
On the nose, I'm thinking
An
it's
ill.
definitely distilled there.
It starts with a H, ends in a ill. Maybe. What do you think? All right, nose. Matt, what do you get?
Yeah, so we're talking about where it could be from, and to me, I'm not picking up a whole ton of that. I get
Really?
I get a
man.
whole lot of vanilla, like vanilla Tootsie Roll.
Okay.
The blends in the blue wrapper. I don't know if you ever had the flavored Tootsie Rolls, but
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking
Never
about.
had it. It's just like waxy vanilla.
yeah.
Never had it.
Yeah, to me, it really comes across that way. I guess there's a little bit of peanut,
Yeah.
a little peanut dust, a little of that roasted aroma on there. Yeah, more.
If someone told me it was blended between two different distilleries in Bardstown from two different companies, then I would believe that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, there's more of a brittle, more like burnt sugar.
Burnt sugar,
coming as it opens up a little more.
What are you picking up, Phil?
I get the peanut and stuff, but I also get like some of those banana notes that you typically would get with like 1792.
Okay.
I don't know. For some reason, I'm getting that really strong. I don't know if it's...
You're on a banana kick, man.
Yeah,
We're at that thing
after doing that, yeah,
it's with Danny.
It's there. It's strong, but I do the peanut which is kind of more like, another brand.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird. It's like almost like they blended a barrel together. In my head, that's what I'm imagining.
It's funny because when I first poured this, I started nosing it because I was fighting a sinus infection over the weekend, so I've been dosing up on all the nose spray and everything.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was tooting up on it. Yeah.
But it was like
Dosing up on that
it was
party
actually
nose spray.
almost the alcohol vapors were pretty tough when I first started nosing it, and I was picking up just like oak and alcohol. But it's settled down now, so I'm getting that vanilla, that kind of burnt sugar, a little hint of peanut maybe. I get almost like a cherry flavor, a dark cherry as well. Just a hint, maybe a little citrus, just a small amount.
It's got a lot going on.
Chad, what about you, man?
So I get the astringency you got. I do get an ethanol punch. Like it hits harder than 99 proof. A little bit of grain, like cream corn. I don't know if it's just like my nose is accustomed to that, but I feel like I get a maltiness to it, like sweet malty, like almost kind of like yeasty beer. I get a ton of peanut butter, which I'm not a huge peanut butter fan, which is crazy because like one of my favorite distilleries, like the biggest note's peanut. So, ton of peanut butter on the nose, the toasted brown sugar, a lot of like the waxy vanilla. In a weird way, it's very candle-esque. Like if someone was like, let me make a bourbon candle that's got to have these notes.
I just got candle.
Yeah.
Like
it smells like what someone, if you just told someone to make a bourbon candle, they would just take those notes and put it in there.
I thought you guys were crazy talking about waxies. And
No.
And
Like,
all of a sudden, I'm
it's-
just like, holy crap, that smells like a
Well, it's like when you smell a
There
candle,
is like that wax.
it's a different type of like aromatic. Like it's different. It's a unique fragrance. You know it's a candle. And like
it was almost perfumey. It almost hit me like perfumey and waxy.
but it's not like a floral perfumey.
Correct.
But right. Yeah.
Crazy, dude. Yeah. As it sits here more, I
thought I broke something for a minute.
no, wait. I was like, you're right. I get it. So, all right, let's go back. Thursday night then. Big party. Matt, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, Thursday night, we, Mark and I were lucky enough to be invited out to the Bardstown Motor Lodge.
Yes, Bardstown Motor Lodge.
Bardstown Motor Lodge. Up
Bardstown Motor Lodge. That's almost as bad as I went to somebody's trunk just to see what they had, and I didn't even know who they are. And then I went to the Motor Lodge.
The Motor Lodge, there was a couple that stayed there. The rooms were $500 a night at the Motor Lodge.
I'm starting to piece together this weekend, and so I didn't see Matt till Saturday, and I'm like, something went down at the Motor Lodge with the Cadillac.
It was cool. It was fun. Swanky little place, redone, definitely modern. But anyway, gorgeous night. We were there for the Broken Barrel after party. Seth Benheim, whole crew from Broken Barrel were out there.
Yeah,
had a great live musician.
Dylan,
I never caught
Dylan, I think
his name
Dylan,
as well, but
from
a lot of
Louisville.
people. Anyway, really great setting, really great ambience. There were campfire, little fire pits all around, Adirondack chairs to sit back and relax in. Great finger foods, good drinks up at the bar for certain.
Yeah, man.
And just a fun time. It was pretty casual, pretty low key at the end of the night.
Well, low key until they brought the axe and the sledgehammer.
That's right. Yeah, until the 8-pound maul came out.
Yeah,
we ended up breaking some barrels.
Yeah.
Did you break a barrel?
I did not get a couple swings in, but they had at one point they brought out the kitchen staff from Tugi's Tavern, the restaurant right there, and let the kitchen staff swing away. And there was definitely some pent up some pent up
You can
kitchen
relate to
rage.
that, right?
Yeah,
Having worked in
absolutely.
the
Some of
industry,
that,
so you get
like,
it.
I've got a dairy allergy, side of broccoli. Like,
Oh wait, that sounds well. I'm not
yeah,
gonna say.
like everything. Yeah. Anyway,
Somebody I know.
so yeah, the chef especially, man, he was putting a hurt into that barrel. You could tell there were.
Well, I was too lazy to join. I just sat in my Adirondack chair around the fire, and I was like, "You guys go bust the barrels. I'm going to sit here and drink some more." So
What night was this?
Thursday night
Thursday
at the Bardstown at the Motor Lodge there.
Oh, yeah.
But they got a courtyard inside.
Yes,
so
Courier. Thank you. I was trying to.
yeah,
figure
and it's
out.
just it's
I
like
know.
pea gravel. but they
Yeah,
had the
I got
chairs.
a lot of FaceTime calls on Saturday from people who were at that courtyard.
Oh, on Saturday.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was a cool. I mean, it's a cool place, and the party was cool. So thank you, Seth.
Yeah, thanks, Seth.
for inviting us to come to that. We had a good time. So that was like all pre-party, things that were going on. And then Friday was the actual first day of the Bourbon Festival. You did not go Friday,
No,
right?
I was
you were
at Bourbon
and
Beyond.
Beyond, which was
Yeah.
also going on
Yeah,
this
I was
week.
at
How
Bourbon
was that
Beyond.
experience? We can talk about that too a little bit, man.
So it was really fun. If you're coming to Kentucky and you're like, oh, I want to go to the Bourbon Festival and I'm going to do Bourbon and Beyond, they're two
Totally
different
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
The Bourbon and Beyond is a music festival that is loosely based off around bourbon.
There's
when I say
bourbon in the name,
loosely,
and that's it.
It's
It's
very
like a LaCroix,
loosely.
it's like the essence
Yeah.
of bourbon's in the air.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
there are places where you could go and taste stuff, but whereas like the Bourbon Festival, you go up and you've paid to get in, so you get to taste things. Here, you're paying by the pour, and it's like, oh, going out to the bar to get a pour. It's not like
It's
seen
not
the
like
price on
it's
the
not like a
cocktails,
$4 pour. It's like an $18
I was
pour.
about to say
Yeah,
like $18 old fashions. I'm like, ain't no old fashioned worth $18.
yeah. So even straight pours, like a neat pour. I think I did get one from Heaven's Door, and it was good. But I think
What'd
it
you
was
get?
like it was
Ascension?
a double.
The double barrel whiskey.
Yeah, it was the double.
What'd you think?
I liked it. Now, would I go pay $15 for it again? Absolutely not. Not for a pour of it.
Hell, I think a bottle's
But-
30.
Yeah. So I mean, that's what. Yeah. So like that's what you're getting into when you go to Bourbon and Beyond. It's a music festival, just like Railbird or
Right, yeah.
any other festival. You're going to pay high prices for food and things like that.
And there's going to be a shit ton of people too, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
That
it's-
Friday night, I think there was 40,000 roughly.
And, I mean, Duran played, the
Yeah,
Killers
the
played,
Killers played.
Hosier.
No, Blondie
was
was-
Sunday. Friday.
Hosier played that night. The Blondie was the last night. They were
That
they
was
were
Sunday
last
night,
night.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before Bruno
Because my
Mars.
daughter actually went to see with my ex-wife to see Duran. So but it
They
was-
put on a really.
I heard they
nice
did,
show.
man.
The show was
So
great.
I
They
heard
put on
it
a
was,
great
man.
show.
So
Yeah.
I went back in 2019. It was brutally hot, and the VIP tent was packed with a lot of people. And I'm old, and the music festival scene just is not my thing. So if you're an old person, I would definitely, if you wanted to do it, upgrade to like the extra VIP, because there's VIP and then there's like beyond
VIP
VIP.
plus and then VIP
So-
plus.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, and so this is the person coming as just I paid for one day
Just a
general
general,
admission.
yeah.
Yeah. So,
and you're a young guy, so you're
but I'm telling you, at the end of the day, I was tired. My feet were hurt. My back was hurting. I was like, why am I here? This is so stupid.
and your credit cards are burned up from $18 pours, man. So
that
it's like,
stopped after one.
yeah,
I was like, that's
yeah.
enough.
Well, that's cool. I mean, I'm glad you got to go. I'm glad you had a good time, and it's a cool
The
festival.
music was phenomenal. So if artists, if there's somebody there you want to see, it's worth it to go see them.
Yeah.
Because you're going to see a bunch that day, but don't expect a laid back bourbon festival that has some music.
Yeah.
Because I even thought in my mind that's kind of how it's pitched.
Yeah.
That's how it's pitched, and it's not
It's
that.
a huge
No,
music
it's
festival.
basically just
And
like-
there's
like-
bourbon on the side. There's little events like there's maybe somebody doing a podcast or doing interviews or some master distillers talking on the side stage way off somewhere else.
It's a smaller version like Rock on the Range, Warp Tour, whatever all those other
And
festivals are.
I would
that
say,
don't
I guess
exist
my
anymore.
biggest complaint was that you couldn't leave. Like
there's
when
no
we were
in
at
and out
Railbird,
access,
you
right?
could leave.
Yeah,
And
I just now learned that. Like,
So
like what
but
the hell?
if you have a camping ticket or you have a VIP ticket, then you can leave and come and go.
I'm not paying more money to leave.
That's-
if I'm
yeah,
on leave,
so-
damn it, I'm on leave.
Yeah, that was I'm like, come on, that's low.
And the thing is tough because this year and last year, it was on the same weekend as Bourbon Festival. So people that came into town to do the Bourbon Festival were then driving from Bardstown up to Louisville to catch shows, and then getting up in the morning, coming back to Bardstown and doing the festival,
Yeah, it's
the
a
Bourbon
lot,
Festival.
yeah.
So next year, they've already announced it's going to be 2 different days. So it'll be the Bourbon Festival first, and then the next weekend is going to be the Beyond or the Bourbon and Beyond. So hopefully that'll
if you're a bourbon connoisseur or a bourbon junkie, skip Bourbon Beyond unless there's an artist you want to see.
Can't talk about that.
I can too.
If you're a bourbon lifer.
Skip it and just go to the Bourbon Festival.
Yeah.
Because that's where it's more bourbon centric. The festival's not.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah. So Friday we went to the festival. The three of us were there, Matt and Chad and I.
Not together, but we
not
were there.
together, but we we showed up there together. It was beautiful weather.
Amazing
it was probably
weather.
upper 70s, maybe low 80s.
I think the high was supposed to be like 81 degrees, and it didn't feel above 70. Cloudy. So I mean, like it's
Dreamy.
Yeah,
it was. Yeah, and there were I don't know how many distilleries and brands that were there. I think over 50, some different.
It's like I think like exact number like 63 or something.
Yeah, and it's really cool the way it's set up because we had media pass, so we went into the VIP entrance, and then they had the general admission entrance, which was really cool because they had all those barrels like a rick house set up, and you walk through there.
Yeah, that was awesome. Like that was really well done.
It's really
like where we walked in. You walked in, and it was Angel's Envy. Yeah, and God, I'm blanking now. I was really just excited to get to the barrel for that slushy.
Barrel craft?
Yeah. And I get there and like, be ready in 10 minutes. And then in 10 minutes, like, it'll be ready in 20 minutes. And I'm like, oh my God, like it's 11 a.m. I need a slushy.
Yes.
But I thought it was really well set up. I heard a couple people complaining about it because they're like, they felt it should have, instead of having the craft section marked off from like craft distillers and craft, like actual craft booths, it should have been like just all open. And I'm like, No, I'm like I feel like it was nice having that separation because both sides were unique. You go to the craft area was craft distilleries, craft brands, and actual crafts, candles, woodworking, stave, whatever.
Right. But they're set up in tents, like around the perimeter.
Right.
So there's open area everyone walks through and you can visit.
Yeah, I mean, like I thought it was really well set up. I enjoyed it a lot. Now, I will say my one complaint that I did have, which I think Four Roses for doing it on Friday, was Four Roses, like, so all these brands drop all their stuff, and then Four Roses announced like they were doing their single barrel, which only had like 148 bottles for, so they just did it all at once on Friday. So then 230 something people were lined up in line.
That line, yeah, man.
And then Jim Beam was dropped, like all these distilleries, which is great. I'm not complaining because I did buy stuff. I'm not complaining one bit.
Right.
But I think Jim Beam did better the next day where they circumvented the line and actually set up a rope. And then like Four Roses, though, where theirs was cutting through the middle, going through like Kentucky Owl's tent, going through the Braxis Augusta tent.
Yeah.
I think for brands, figuring out the queue line situation, like if you know you're going to be doing a big release, like Heaven Hill's off in the corner by the toilets, they had all the space.
Yeah.
So it really didn't matter.
Right.
But I think that'd be my one and only thing that I would complain about, like walking into the festival. Other than that, I think the way it was set up was great.
Well, and the cool thing about it is because they have what they call the Great Tent. So they have like 2 or 3 events. Like they had the bourbon opener, and we went to that one that was with Danny Calloway. Yep. One of our good friends. He's
Bardstown.
Probably the nicest guy I think in the whole bourbon industry. I mean, Danny is just super great.
He's super nice,
and he will make you feel like
he knows. He remembers everybody.
He does, and he makes you feel like you are the most important person in the world when he's talking to you, and that's a rare thing that people have, a rare skill, and he has that. But he plays French horn, so I hold that against him just a little bit.
Yeah, the only French horn player I know from high school, whenever we went to contests, he got a 5. I don't know if you know how hard it is whenever you go to do these contests and you get a 5. Like, that's the worst you can get. And it's like when a French horn averages like a 4, you're like, oh, that's bad. So
yeah,
which I know that Danny played. I know Danny played in like orchestras and stuff.
Oh yeah, Danny's big time, right?
So he says.
So they have the Great Tent where they do those events. Then they also have access to Spalding Hall, which has the educational, and they did it in the Brindiamo Penthouse, which is the space for the space for the Bourbon Capital Guild. But it was really nice, and they did different educational sessions up there, like craft cocktails. Danny Kahn did a thing up there on blending. We can talk about that a little bit more. And I did not do any of those last year. Matt, did you do any education?
I didn't do any last year.
I didn't either, so I didn't even really know what.
I don't remember. I think they might have just done them under the tent.
Oh, it may not have been in there, right?
They didn't have access to the Spalding Hall. Brindiamo wasn't up there.
Yeah, I don't think that was quite the thing.
Yeah, it was
I think
super
moving
nice.
Forward, I imagine the education side and the classes will be pitched a whole lot more.
I
which
wish I
thought
had
was
gone
really
up there
good.
more because I didn't go up there till Saturday, and that was just to get some like video for the festival for content. And I was like, damn, like
it was
it's
really
a beautiful space.
It's a beautiful space, and every one that we went to, I really enjoyed. And again, being an older guy, I mean, even though it's only 80 degrees, there's still 6,000 people there. A lot of walking around, a lot of things going on.
Is that what the capacity is maxed at?
I think it was 6,000.
6,000,
I think it was.
I didn't feel like it was 6,000.
No, it didn't.
No,
feel
I didn't.
like it.
I didn't
Definitely
either. I don't
like
feel
that.
packed in there. I don't feel jammed.
No,
in.
because it's everywhere. For the most part, it's open.
Yeah.
Unless you're like inside of a brand tent in line.
Yeah,
But
in a
Yeah, the only
line.
time it really felt crowded that I can remember is like when we were in the craft area over
Saturday.
Saturday, but it was like when we were down in that corner next to
Like RD1.
Yeah,
there's kind
down
of like
there
a little
next to
choke
RD1,
point.
and there was that- yeah.
entrance
It's like
right there.
That's like
Because
the one
there's-
spot. There's nowhere to like get
There was
out.
an entrance,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And their bathrooms were right on the other
and
side
there
of
was
that.
like 4 or
so-
5 brands right there
Yeah,
together,
there in
and
that,
it was
in that
it
corner.
was tight.
I
right
agree.
there.
That
Yeah,
was a
people
little,
were coming in and stopping
Yes.
when people were trying to leave
Yeah.
or stopping, and it was a little tight. But I gotta agree with Philip on that one.
But the setup, you walk in. If you go in the main entrance, the big distilleries are on the left. They're all set up, and some of them have some really fancy ass setups, man. Like
Buffalo
really,
Trace pretty much just like, we're going to take the old gift shop and put it on wheels and we're going to roll
seriously.
it to Bardstown.
yeah,
On the right, you go into the craft area. Like you said, craft distillers, craft brands, smaller brands, non-distilling producers, etc.
Yeah.
In their little tents along the perimeter, and the crafts. My friend Bill Cole was there, a photographer that took our pictures for us.
at Bardstown.
Had a tent set up there showing his works and stuff. But yeah, man, it's just great. I love the setup. I love the great tent. This year they had the media tent. They did not have that.
Yeah, last year I didn't go last year, but I heard the horror stories. Influence, if they can't bitch, they can't do something. But the VIP tent was mixed with the.
It
Which
was.
let me tell you, I mean,
It was.
like, did you go in the VIP tent at all?
Not this year. Last year we killed it.
Well, it's okay. So I went in there. So we went there to film some stuff, and holy moly, I'm glad we weren't combined. This is nothing against KBF, but like the people, I mean, they're getting their money's worth in there. They are. You spin a wheel, and if it lands on something, you got a 2-ounce pour. And this guy he just stood there, spin, and like 12 ounces of whiskey in about 30 seconds.
Well, we were last year. We were getting some pretty substantial and very nice pours.
Well, even in the media tent, they had a bar.
Yeah.
A private
they did.
bar.
Oh,
there.
yes.
I
media-
know.
yeah.
Like I've got my money. I got their money's worth Friday.
Yeah, so that was really cool.
Yes.
Guys, let's jump back to the whiskey, and then we'll talk about the after party Friday night and Matt's beautiful costume that he wore. But back to this palate and finish. Haven't taken it. Matt, what do you got? You just took a drink.
I think palate finish hit more of those notes that we're all looking for. Peanut, the vanilla, the brittle, kind of that brittled syrupy sugar that you might get almost like if you like burn the bottom of like an apple pie or something, like a little bit that like spills over, kind of like that burnt fruit sugar.
Yeah.
Vanilla's creamy, just nice. It drinks really well.
Yeah,
This is a good everyday sitting down drinking
I was
bourbon.
going to say. I mean, and the thing was, to me, the ethanol we talked about on the nose, I don't really get that on the palate. I don't, I get the
It kind of
flavors.
died off a little bit.
It did, yeah. So I got like nice bourbon flavors, the vanillas. Like Matt said, kind of a burnt sugar aroma as well. A little tannic to me. I thought it was a little drying. Maybe it's just my palate tonight, but kind of a little drying to me. But not bad. Not something like crazy. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. So what was the price on this one?
After tax, it was $24 and some change. Yeah.
Dang, dude. What about you, Chad? What do you think? Palate and finish on that?
I like it. I mean, I agree with Matt. Peanut brittle, vanilla. I mean, basic caramel, vanilla, oak,
Yeah, right.
butterscotchy notes.
Yeah, butterscotchy. I like that.
It's quintessential. I mean, it is a quintessential
Bourbon.
It's not overly fancy, but I mean, the finish on it's very like short, medium length. It's got a decent mouth was kind of thin, but it's got good flavors to it. I mean, it's for 99 proof. I've been a big fan of this ever since it came out, and it's consistent. I've not touched the bottle I have at home in probably like 6 months, but it's still consistent, tastes same. I mean, if you just want an everyday pour for cheap, for cocktails, whatever, I think it's the way to go.
Yep. What do you think, Phil?
Yeah, it's the bourbon. If somebody was like, "Oh, you drink bourbon," this is one that's like, here, try this. This is
Yeah.
what bourbon tastes like.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
like,
then go
that's-
from there,
yeah,
and then branch out from it.
And
Like,
it's a
this
good
is-
bourbon, like you said, for cocktails, because I love to make cocktails,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I don't want to use a fancy 50, 60, 70, $100 bottle of bourbon for a cocktail. I want something that's going to stand up and have
It would,
good
yeah.
flavor. And I think that really would with that
Yeah.
proof, especially 99 proof. I think that would really stand.
I wonder how
stand
they
up.
come to that. Let's make it 99 proof.
I don't know, man. That's a good.
There's no weird made up story on the
No,
bottle,
there-
so.
Is that charcoal mellowed? Because the old ones are
it is.
separate.
Oh, it is.
All
Oh,
their
yeah,
stuff.
all-
Okay.
all,
Okay.
all with
Charcoal
Ezra is.
mellowed.
I thought it was. I just want to make sure. 'cause
But well, I
the
mean, all
and
Heaven
it's
Hill is.
sour
But
mash,
anyway, no, I mean, I just I'm a big I've been getting really big into like dusty, like old Ezra stuff.
You have?
And, yeah.
oh man.
But it's crazy seeing the brand now, and I think that Luxor has taken a good direction because everything before that, like it was just kind of like here's some 80 proof 3-4 year old, here's some 90 proof 3 or 4 year old.
I was going to say, have they done away with the 90 proof Ezra? Or
I
the
think
Ezra Brooks?
that's pretty much getting phased out.
Because like
for
I haven't
that.
seen
that.
it. Yeah, I haven't seen it
okay.
anymore.
I
And
didn't
this is because that used to be, I would buy it all the time. It was like $12.
And that's a really nice looking bottle too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's when you can put on your bar and people be like,
Yeah, I mean it's in
damn,
Boston. I mean, it
What
says
is-
Luxor
yeah, man.
Distilling
It's like,
on it.
what
Like,
is
yeah,
that?
it's
That's
Yeah,
fancy.
it's really nice and it's heavy too.
Yeah,
It's got
It
a
is got that
nice
nice
thick
base
bottle.
on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
awesome. I'm going to call that one a fixture. I would buy it and drink it. I would drink it neat. I'd also use it, like I said, in a cocktail events.
Yeah, the fixture for me as well.
Yeah.
Wow, man, 2 fixtures.
I know we're on a roll.
Yeah.
We're on a
And
roll.
I'm pretty sure the next one's going to be
I don't
2.
know. We're gonna I'm
Next
gonna
one's gonna suck.
keep my fingers crossed on that one. So, all right, guys. Well, why don't we take a quick break, get a word from our sponsors, and we'll be back with more with the Bourbon Life Crew in just a minute.
From our good friends at The Stave comes Lexington's newest hot spot to meet up with friends, have fun, and eat some great food. District 7 Social is a social and beer hall, but it's a lot more than that. Located in Lexington's Distillery District, it's the home of Lexington's first duck pin bowling lanes, and it also features a self-serve beer wall. That's right, self-serve. And if you want more, they've got it. You can try one of their delicious cocktails from the bar or order some great German fusion food from their on-site eatery, Germanish. So what are you waiting for? Be seen, be social. District 7 Social.
All right, everybody, welcome back for the third and final round of the Bourbon Life Podcast. I'm your host, Mark, and with me here live in the Bourbon Life Studios, it's my smart-ass friend, Chad.
What up?
It's my good buddy, Matt.
Hey, what's up, Captain?
Yeah, man. And Philip. Yeah, there you go. All right. Hey, and I'm Mark. Welcome back. So thanks for sticking around. Hopefully you guys have hung out with us this long. If not, well, that's all right. Because we got something really good poured up. Before
I mean,
we do
for
that,
all intents and purposes, you could have just forgotten to push record, and
everything's recorded.
it would have been
Matt.
all right.
It's all right.
I would say there's probably a couple people that's like, I'm tired to listen to this. I'm never going to go do any of these parties or any of these events.
I don't know. I gave out a fair amount of Bourbon Life business cards
Yeah.
at the
did, man.
festival.
You guys
There
have
might
those?
actually be a few people either wanting or not wanting to hear this
Yeah.
recap.
No doubt. It was a
see.
good time. So speaking of good times, well, let's talk about what we're going to drink.
Not
So,
good times.
I just got this. If you guys listen to the show, you know my favorite bourbon is Elijah Craig. Yeah, whatever, man. Elijah Craig barrel proof. But I will tell you, I've never asked, and I don't like to ask for stuff usually. I really don't, because I think if a brand wants to send me something, I love it. But I'm not going to be like, hey, will you send me this? Because I buy a lot of stuff. I mean, you guys know I buy a shit ton of Elijah Craig barrel proof. Every bottle I have, pretty much,
Yeah.
I have purchased.
You buy a lot.
I've got probably 70 plus bottles of different.
Besides what you get for gifts, yes.
Yeah, besides what you guys give me, which is
I mean, it's
very,
the easiest thing to get you for any holiday.
yeah, just give Mark barrel proof because you know he loves it. So today I got my very first bottle from Heaven Hill. I just got it today.
Influencer.
This is no, it's like, so
No, you sell out.
This is the C923. This one comes in. This is 130. What is it? 133. Is
You
that
put
right?
your glasses on.
Yeah,
Photos
130.
of Jeff and promise them for this bottle.
What'd you say, Matt?
It's on the bottle. What are you doing? Like looking at your nose? You're holding the bottle.
I'm just my eyes aren't focusing very good, man. I'm still kind of tired from this weekend. But anyway, 133 proof C923. This one comes in at 13 years, 7 months old because I think obviously there were some changes made to the bottles, right? And they dropped that 12-year. And I think some people kind of freaked out about that. So did they do that before the B, or do you know this year?
That was the A. No, yeah, the A was
the A the
11 year.
Was it?
Right?
I can't
Right?
remember.
I'm not sure.
I want to say end of last year was probably our last age stated, and beginning of this was probably
Was
our
the first?
first
Okay, yeah.
I mean, I could be wrong, but I feel like A was.
age stated.
I don't have a bottle of any of this year.
Okay.
I've not gotten a single bottle.
Yeah.
And I've hit Kroger and Liquor Barn up pretty much weekly.
I've got
instead of
some
it.
somewhere, Chad. I'm sure I could find you one.
Well, so that was the only thing sold out at the Kentucky Bourbon Festival. Like I got Elijah Craig 18. I got Larceny Barrel Proof, and they had Toast Elijah Craig, Elijah Craig Barrel
923.
Proof. Well, every day they only brought so many cases, and they sold out.
Sold it all?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I'm thankful to Heaven Hill for sending me this first bottle that they've sent me in almost 5 years, man. So I'm thrilled. Super, super happy to have that one.
Man,
So
let's get started on this. That's the bourbon industry. They just crap on the like lifelong fans.
what are you talking about?
All the cheap brands, they keep raising the prices because that's all your daily drinkers. You're the biggest Elijah Craig Barrel Proof fan in America, and they just now sent you a bottle.
Well, they finally watched the video that the
watched
reel
the
of
video
all of them around
where
the
I had
table.
to
They
Send
realize that's like 50% of their market share is him
Their
buying all of
sales
it.
that come
What are they going to
80% of
do?
your sales come from 20% of your customers. Mark's
you
one of
would've-
20%.
If you'd
Yeah.
have done a TikTok dance like 3 years ago, you've already got one.
That's true. That's a whole nother story. The whole influencer thing is a whole nother story at the Bourbon Festival, and I'm not really going to go down that path, but we'll pass on that one. But hey, so let's talk about this one. I've not even smelled it yet, Chad. I'll just throw it to you because you're nosing on it. So
I got a ton. It's like campfire s'mores, toasted brown sugar, sweet oak. It's rich. It's got like it's gonna sound weird. I mean, because if you've never smoked a black and mild or smelled one, it's got like that black and mild tobacco note,
okay,
which is like just a sweet and
Yeah, that's
artificial.
sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too sweet though? You think it's
No, I
okay.
love it.
Okay,
I think it's really. It does not nose like 133
at all.
At all.
No,
No.
not at all.
Okay,
I mean, I can put my whole nose in there, get a big whiff of it. It's airy, it's vibrant. There's a little florality to the end of it, get a big whiff. Great nose. It's big and bold. A lot going on, but it's very concentrated.
yeah. Philip, what about you? What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely doesn't nose like the proof. At most I would say 120. That's like really pushing it.
That's why I
Yeah.
double checked when I was like, wait,
Yeah, it's got a very pleasant nose, and it's through and through Elijah Craig.
yeah.
Like all the Heaven Hill notes are everything you love about it's right there.
Matt, what do you think?
See, at first I actually picked up, I thought, a pretty strong whiff. Maybe I just poured it and sniffed a little quick, but I thought right at the start it was a little hot, but it has dissipated that heat quite a bit, and it is, you are able to get in there, especially at 133 proof. But like you all were saying, a lot of our stereotypical Elijah Craig barrel proof notes get a lot of like a red fruit, like a tart cherry, like a cherry juice type note with it.
What's maraschino?
Maraschino.
Yeah.
That sweetness.
There's almost, to me, almost like a bread, like a fresh baked bread, not like a wheat bread or just like kind of nondescript toast or like bread.
The brown bread from Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah.
What is that bread?
I don't know.
Exactly.
It's not really bread.
Yeah,
That's
bread,
the trick.
yeah.
Ta-da!
Pie crust.
A lot of age.
Yeah.
You can definitely smell the age of 13 years. A lot of oak, a lot of those tobacco, kind of barn, dusty notes to it as well.
That's the thing that stands
Like
out to me. I
savory.
think are those notes that kind of give it that older, that it's older, right?
I mean, it definitely smells older than 13, I think, But
Okay, so here's the crazy thing, right? This is $74.99. Is that what it is?
that's what they say it is.
Okay, but that is the suggested price.
I would
$74.
so I would guess like in Frankfurt,
Okay.
if I was going to go get a bottle, it'd be at Kroger, and it'd probably be $84.
Okay,
It's about
Which-
what-
Yeah,
there's
for
what-
you're getting a
it's what
13-year
there's-
cask strength bourbon. I mean, it's like even 2 years ago at Liquor Barn, maybe it's 3. I don't know, maybe during the pandemic, it was like 99 to 109. Heaven Hill's like, no, still $59.99. I'm still buying it because at the end of the day, I'm getting a 12-year-old cask strength bourbon. So I mean, like, I'm not gonna turn my nose up. I buy Booker's 6-year cask strength that for $100.
$107 now.
Yeah, I'll buy Elijah Craig cask strength for $100.
Yeah.
You won't notice. So like Booker's, to me, it varies a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Like you get these are, I think, are pretty consistent.
I feel like we're seeing.
There's differences, but they're
Do you think
subtle
the age
differences.
could have something to do with it?
Well, I think the trajectory now, because Booker's, it used to be like age minimum 6 to 8 years, and with some older stuff blended in. Now we're seeing a lot of more consistent 7-year minimal statements, like 7 year, 2 months, 13 days, and 5 hours kind of shit.
Yeah.
And
5 hours.
I think
It makes a difference. Makes a difference.
It does. They wouldn't put it on there, but I think they've gotten. And I'm a Jim Beam fanboy, like BOI fanboy, and I've from like 2019 to 2022 was kind of a bust, So there was like 3 years, and they were slashing age statements. They were cutting out batches, and I think it was just kind of like that's when Booker's I feel like Booker's didn't really take off like 2019-ish time frame, and they were kind of meeting demand, or 2018 and 2019 they were kind of meeting demand. So yeah, I think the quality did kind of dip, but like with Heaven Hill, I mean, like how many did they produce more barrels? I mean, they should do they're over their 10 millionth barrel.
Yeah,
they produce more bourbon than anyone in the
Yeah.
state. I mean, Buffalo Trace just passed like their 6 million.
I was gonna say I think Buffalo Trace might be at 8 million.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm like 30 days behind.
That's all right.
on them.
They're done. A million barrels every 6 months or every 3 months. So, but so let's go back. Let's talk about the festival. So Saturday night was
No.
Friday night.
Friday night. I mean, Friday night. Friday night was a big night. Matt, look, Matt's not even making eye contact, man. So Matt, what happened? What were we doing Friday night? Do you remember?
Yeah, I do. At least I was told what we were doing Friday night. No, we went out to. We were lucky enough to go score tickets to the Bardstown Bourbon Festival, or Bardstown Bourbon Company. Thank you. At
there
the
were
Bardstown
tickets?
Bourbon Festival.
There were you had to have tickets.
I got one comped, and I actually bought 2 tickets for him and for Anita.
I just went.
I know everybody did. And when I was sitting there and I saw you guys, everybody's just walking in. I'm like, I just spent $200 from my wife and my buddy Matt.
I got my gift bag, and it's like one free drink, and I'm like, free? Or like, you got to pay for this stuff?
Yeah, that's all right.
See,
That's all right.
They gave. I was given an absurd number of free drink tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so that's what I'm saying. Like
I had 5 when I checked in. And
I was like, who's paying for
Like
this?
I got 4.
Yeah.
Or something,
I walked in,
free
like,
drink tickets.
John Cecil was like, "Get your bag. There's free drink tickets in it." And I was like, "Someone just gave me like 10 drink tickets." Like,
I didn't even know there was a bag.
So it was
what was in the bag?
Oh, it was those
disco balls,
like a disco
earrings.
ball for a drink. So you had a straw. I think did the straw light up? Maybe?
No, the ball, the cup itself lit up, and the earrings lit up.
Yeah, the
And
earrings
they
were
gave
like
you
little disco balls.
The sunglasses
and
were like something that John Waddell from Peerless would wear.
Yeah, we love you, John.
No, I do love you, John.
But yeah, so there was a bag. Sorry, Matt, you didn't
Walked right past that.
Yeah,
Straight to the dance floor.
You didn't walk anywhere that night, dude.
Strutted.
You did the disco slide. So it was a disco party. It was a disco themed party. Some people dressed up. I did not. But Matt did. Matt had a beautiful 1970s leisure suit and a ruffled shirt straight from Dumb and Dumber. It was
I need to see a picture. Oh my God.
shit. It was awesome, dude. I mean, honestly, people were just like, "Oh my God," looking at him like, I love it. And man, he was full on disco, just like he's walking down the sidewalk to the distillery doing this sideways shuffle like this. Just having a great time. But Matt,
You know how I know Matt had a good time?
because
Because he asked me if I seen him on Friday at the Bardstown Bourbon Company party.
But dude, he wanted a stack of business cards, and he's like, "I'm giving these out. I'm not gonna have a single card left." And he pretty much lived up to his promise, man. So
I tried.
He took care of it. But yeah, so we got him home safe Friday night. But we had a great time at Bardstown Bourbon Company, man. So thank them as well for that, because that was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I didn't spend a lot of time inside of that party. I did on the outside of that party.
Well, it was a beautiful evening. They had the fireplaces going out.
So it felt great outside.
Lounge
the weather
chairs
was nice.
outside.
It was like 60 degrees.
Yeah.
Some guys handed me a Corona light beer, and Bardstown Bourbon Company. Whatever happened to the parking lot, you don't need to know. You know.
Yeah,
I know.
I heard some stuff was going on, but yeah,
Did they tell you?
I heard so. But I had people who was Berman's Bourbon came over, man. He's like,
Oh my God.
He's
So-
like, "You're the OG." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Dude, I've been following you forever. You're so awesome. And all these guys are standing around here. They don't even really know who you are, but I know who you are." He goes, "Man, I got one of those."
He probably does not remember this conversation.
He's like, "I got an Old Forester's President's Choice out in the trunk. You want to go have some?" I'm like, Man, I appreciate it, but I'm comfortable right here. I'm not moving anymore.
Is that when you were at the table
big
outside?
table?
Yeah,
man. I was like, I appreciate it, but I'm done with drinking whiskey out of trunks for this weekend.
Let me tell you. So he took my backpack. I had all the stuff I bought Friday in my backpack. So my Bakers, all my stuff in there. And like, I was pouring Baker's 13 for people, and I was pouring up the Boston,
Nice.
Hardin's Creek. And he's like, let me just throw the bag in my trunk, So then he does that. And then he shuts it, and then he's just gone. And it's like 2 hours go by, and I'm like, my keys are in my bag.
Oh,
I can't go home. He never texts me back. I was like, hey, where's my stuff at? Sorry, Steve. I love you, man. Bourbon's Bourbon. If you're listening, follow Bourbon's Bourbon. He remembers none of this. He called me on Sunday and was just like,
He's hilarious. It was hilarious.
He is amazing. Yeah. But someone finally decided to check his car and was like, oh, he left it unlocked.
Oh, so you got your bag. So.
I got my bag back.
Yeah, but that was a fun night. That's
Friday was a blast.
It was. And so Saturday, rolling up early. So I had reached out to Liquor Barn because I saw that they were going to have 2 guys that had been guests on our show. They were going to be doing a bottle signing over at
I believe they're called like vampires, yeah.
Yes, it was Ian Somerhalder, Paul Wesley, Brothers Bond Bourbon, also the guy, the stars from the Vampire Diaries. So I saw that they're going to be there. Of course, Liquor Barn is a wonderful sponsor of our show. Love those guys. So I reached out to one of their guys and I was like, hey, is there any way we could come over and just meet them? Because we've recorded with them twice. We've just never met them in person. So didn't hear anything back. So Friday, we're in one of our educational sessions at the festival upstairs and phone rings and it's my guy. He's like, man, if you guys can be there around 10:30, they'll get you in. I'm like,
Mark's got a guy.
I'm like, all right, man.
Yeah.
So we show up. What time we get there, Matt? Like 9:50?
Early.
Matt was not happy, I'll tell you that.
I know, he was
Early.
It was 9:50, and then it wasn't, 11:15 before we got to even...
Early.
Yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
Matt.
That's all right.
Matt was recovering still, so... But we did get to meet Ian and Paul, and they were gracious, super gracious.
Super
man.
gracious.
And Ian is just like, he is as down-to-earth as he is on the podcast. I mean, and so passionate about his bourbon. And he had the new bottled and bond. It's not released yet. Matt tasted it. Matt was not in the best frame of mind for tasting, but I thought it was delicious.
I thought it was great too. I did enjoy it. I would love to sit down with a bottle when I'm feeling a little bit more like drinking, but was very, very gracious, Ian, to pour us up and to get to try it before a lot of people.
And it's funny because he comes up, he sees us because, they've got everybody cordoned off. Nobody can really get to him yet. So they had a couple of Liquor Barn employees that got to talk to him real quick, got pictures. Well, then they bring us back and Ian sees me and he like recognizes me and comes over and he gives me this big bear hug. Well, I mean, like Matt's a small dude and Ian is like even smaller, man. I was like, if I hug this guy back, I'm gonna break like 6 ribs, So, but it was just fun. It was a lot of good time for us. I enjoyed it anyway. Matt, I'm sorry that we were there for an hour and a half before you got
It's all good.
Got to.
I've heard they're super nice. I mean, everyone who goes to those events, who's talked to them, like Louisville Bourbon Buzz, and
right. That's right, because they're Bourbon and Beyond.
And they helped, and they did the thing with Kroger. I've heard they're great.
The big difference is they actually get out and hustle their brand.
Yeah, they do.
Like they're out talking about it. Like the day I was there at Bourbon and Beyond, they did the live podcast with Chris from the Kroger Picks.
Oh yeah. Was that the Firkin podcast? Or
Yeah. So they did that on that Friday. Like, there's no other celebrity brands that are, hitting the pavement, doing podcasts,
like
talking about their brand like they do. Like
I agree, man.
They're passionate about their product.
You can tell Ian. I mean, when you talk to Ian, and it's funny because he was like, the security people were like, or their handlers or who are the PR people were like, okay, we gotta get this moving, we gotta get this going, and Ian just would not stop. Right? I mean, he just kept talking.
More or less, we had to walk away.
We walked away
from him.
Seriously.
It's like, all right, Ian, I've got shit to do today.
Seriously, I felt like saying, Ian, like you've got like 1,000 people waiting to get bottles and to meet you, and you're talking to us about, which is great. We love the whiskey,
which is not how I heard that Mark Wahlberg is about his tequila.
So I saw Marky Mark. Yeah,
you went to that was Liquor Barn too, right?
Yeah. So me and my wife went up there, and we got there. I think they were supposed to start signing bottles like 10 o'clock. We got there at like maybe 9. I was like, surely there ain't gonna be that many people there. This email went out late. There was like 2,000 people.
I heard
there was huge lines.
And he was like, late getting there.
I heard it was
So
nuts.
I was telling Matt at the festival, I was like, we just pulled up, and I was like, well, we're not going to get in line, and you're not getting a bottle, so let's just go into the tasting bar. The store's open. People were coming in and out of the store. I was like, well, let's just...
Yeah, right.
I just walked back to the tasting bar.
Yep.
We both ordered a beer, and we were sitting there, and then here he comes, and he's just back there talking to people and stuff like that. And all those people were in line, and I'm like, cool. We just left. And then I just messaged Brad. I was like, hey, is it possible to get a signed bottle? He was like, yeah, I got you one.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Well, that's cool.
Like, yeah. I was like, I'm not standing in that line. At 2.5 hours, you're not getting through all those people.
No, that's what I'm like. I didn't know. But, Ian and Paul are very passionate about it. So I don't know. If Ian had his way, he'd probably stay there and talk to every person. Yeah. And spend like 20 minutes with each one of them.
But I think they also, and I don't know, but I think they also know you are there for the bourbon and not because they were on TV. There's a lot of people in that line. They don't give a shit about that bourbon. They're there because they were on TV.
Well, I think that's what excites them. And I hear they're really big into their brand. They love bourbon. And they want to like, and I mean, it could all just be like the media, like their PR people like, no. It's like they help blend it. But I mean, everyone says, one, they're genuine. They care a lot about creating, and I'll be honest, I've never had a drop of their stuff, of Brothers Bond.
Yeah.
I used to sell a ton of it, it's right there. But I hear they care a lot about their brand. And it's very rare for a celebrity to care about their brand. And I mean, I don't want to turn this into like a celebrity whiskey round, but there's a lot of celebrities in the spirits industry who don't give two shits about their brand. It's just like, is it making money?
Yeah.
And,
I agree.
And coming from the retail space, like they seem like two genuine people who actually care about the brand, not just the dollars.
The
little bit that I listened to their podcast with Chris, they're live. They said that they blended their first batch. I guess it was like during COVID, but it was in one of them's kitchen.
It was in Ian's.
And it was like they spent like 6 or 8 months on deciding the blend. Yeah. So like they legit.
We gonna pour up some more. We're already hitting up round 2 of the Elijah Craig barrel.
That's how good it tastes.
I'll let you pour your own there. So
it's more than I expected.
Yeah. That's all right, man. I'm going to track down another bottle or two of that. So guys, let's talk about Saturday after that. So Matt, we left there, headed back down to Bardstown for the festival.
Yeah.
I think we were both feeling a little hungover, a little rough.
It's just been a long week for you, especially long weekend.
Yeah.
Me, a couple nights. A little grizzly, a little rough around the edges, but still had a great time on Saturday.
You didn't drink a drop.
No, man.
I did not drink a drop.
Well, he drank some of the bottled and bond because Ian was like, you got to try this.
So what you should have had, and this is what made my, like...
Did you not? I thought I saw you taste one thing when I was there with you, but maybe you didn't.
Yeah, he didn't,
I never, like, usually if I drink too much, I don't feel hungover the next day. It's like I feel hungover like the same day. Like if I...
I get it.
That's kind of how Friday went for me, but like getting me a barrel seagrass slushy at 11 a.m. was... Exactly what I needed.
That is, I'm telling you, the Barrel Craft Spirits, for those of you who don't know, they have a slushy machine. They use their seagrass rye. They turn it into this tropical slushy that is delicious. And last year, someone figured out that you could ask them to pour a floater, so they would also pour a little shot of the seagrass straight on top of the slushy.
That was somebody that's been to the Dominican.
No, so here's what I did. So now I got the gray label seagrass floater. I got a gold label floater. Then I got a gold label bourbon floater.
Jeez.
And then my final one that I had on Friday, got about 7, was was the Vantage floater. So the Vantage floater added a ton of like unique flavors to a slushy instead of just it kind of calmed down the sweetness. And I'm like, so then the rest of all of my seagrass slushies were with Vantage floaters. And everyone's like, no, it's like a $300 slushy if you do the gold label. I'm like, no, but it tastes better with the Vantage.
Yeah.
So if you go next year, Vantage.
I'm telling you what, man, it's worth it. And even if you have to wait in a line, it's great.
It was the busiest.
Oh yeah. It's
besides
crazy.
Buffalo Trace
and 3 Chord, because they were giving out 3 Chord, which is our sponsor. They were giving out the nut.
Oh my god, no,
I got one. Yeah,
I got Philip. That's right. I got Philip one, man.
That like the neck link so many people went from looking 21 to like 45 in a matter of a plastic container for a lanyard.
I'm telling you, man, people loved it, man.
And to be honest, don't skip the lines, because when I was there, when I first got there, I skipped that line. I was like, I don't know what they're pouring up, but it must be something special, and I'm not waiting. Yeah. Like, I might come back when the line dies down, but it seemed like that line all day. And
for
so
3 Chord? Oh, yeah. 3 Chord.
So I was never
the entire damn weekend.
And that's why, because
that's one of the few I did not actually get to because even Friday early, we got in with the media passes. We were in earlier than early.
And people were there already. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't get there till Saturday, like at like 4:00. Like that's finally when there was like, all right, I'll wait 10 people.
Yeah.
Not I'm gonna wait 40, 50 people in line.
Yeah. I walked up because I knew the lady that does their stuff, and I just walked over because I was really just going to say hi. But then I was like, man, you guys, your line's crazy. And she goes, yeah, people are really loving it. I said, I know, I've noticed the things. So she gave me one for Nita, and I got one, but then I gave it to Philip because he really wanted one, man. So yeah, but Saturday was really cool. Another educational day, some events under the great tent. I did not drink nearly as much. I mean, I don't go down there to get hammered. That's not what it's about. It's about to see people and interact. And to me, that's so much fun. Just getting to see people that we see on Instagram, I really enjoyed that.
I met so many people, and I met so many people I've never met before. And someone made a joke like everyone on Instagram is so much larger in real life. And like 90% of all those posts were of heavy chugs, or heavy bourbon, not heavy chugs, heavy bourbon. Dan.
Yeah.
Because he's a fucking monster, but
He's a big boy.
Shorter than I thought.
Yeah.
I expected him to be taller than that.
Yeah.
But I passed him going into the porta potty, and he's been
like
chugging.
6'4".
So I didn't even stop
done.
and say hi. I let him go do his thing. He was beyond.
So there are people that go ahead. Sorry.
No. I was just saying, like it isn't like the amount of people like I've never met and I've talked to for years. Like Jonathan Green from Hop Spirits Podcast lives in Lexington. I do his podcast like once a season.
Yeah.
I do like a stint on there. Never met him.
Seriously?
3.5 years I've known him.
That's crazy.
We finally met. But and then you meet people, or you see people, I mean like of course we hang out with you guys and Philip and Chad and Sarah and like all these people who I do see regularly, but it's just this culmination of just people were traveling from Alaska.
Oh yeah, man.
And Mexico. Like it was
Crazy.
nuts. It was just crazy to me.
There was that group that was from South Florida, like down in the Miami area. They
Yeah,
drove up.
the two couples that drove up that were like, I'm like, have you ever been to Kentucky before? Nope. Like, are you bourbon fans? We're getting there,
See, like
I'm
next year,
holy
what
crap.
I really want to do is I'm not that kind of person who does like videos like that. Like, but I want to do just kind of where you're from.
Yeah.
You ever been here? And just like short term, like
I agree.
short form content interviews and just talking to people. Cause it's crazy. Like just meeting people, like, where are you from? Like, oh, I live 50 minutes away. And they're like, oh, I drove like 7.5 hours to be here today. I'm like,
I know.
wow.
It's crazy.
Like, I
man.
And for
hate
such a
driving
small
40
limited
minutes,
number
you know?
of people that can get in, because it's what 6,000 is the limit. So it's really wild to see that many people.
Now, you didn't go Sunday. We didn't go. Did you go Sunday at all?
No. So I got invited Sunday to do a couple of events and stuff, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's like,
sorry.
It's like all done. Yeah, no, we did the same thing last year, man. We went Friday, Saturday, and it was like by Sunday, I'm like, dude,
I would say
man.
if you're coming from out of state, make the best of it and pace yourself.
Pace yourself.
Yes.
For
But-
sure.
Be responsible.
Sure.
I mean, because let's be honest, they will pour you. Every booth will pretty much pour you whatever.
Sure, man.
As many times you want to visit it, and
Yeah.
yes, and the law states don't serve to anyone intoxicated, but
Right.
there were people who were intoxicated while pouring. But,
But no fights. I mean, nobody's being rude. Nobody's being redneck. Nobody's being.
I did not see
I didn't
anyone
see
out of
any-
line.
Nope, not at
no
all.
one being rude.
Nope.
Fights. Nothing. The worst thing that I happened to just see ever the entire time was that damn line for Four Roses, with people hoping they were still going to put out single barrels. That was the only thing that frustrated me. It's like four
and
Roses.
Brent was there because Brent Elliott was there signing bottles, right? So that also added to everybody wanting
I
to be
legit
there.
watched a guy have him sign a bottle of Woodford Reserve with Chris Moore standing like 7 feet away. And then he said, "Thank you, Brent," and then walked away.
So that is a cool thing about the festival is obviously you see these guys. They're walking around. I mean, Chris Morris was just standing because we were walking. Yeah, we were walking through, right? And Chris Morris is just kind of hanging over there by the Woodford tent, just standing there by a barrel, you know.
And
like,
here's what's crazy:
hey,
like if
Chris,
you don't know who he is, he's just like a guy.
he is. Like a
But
little
I mean,
fella,
like I
man,
know,
just
like he is a guy. Like
Right.
we're all a guy, but like to us, he's like, holy shit, that's Chris Morris.
It's like rock star level, man.
Yeah,
for real.
And I've met him twice before, and it's always, and he's so like, I feel like he really hates talking to people.
He's so soft spoken.
But
I think he's very
It feels like a lot of the master distillers are that way.
Yeah, well,
there's a lot of them. I mean, there's a few, that are like outgoing.
Fred Noah's not that way.
Well, oh my God, that man parties for his age. But
oh damn, got a kidney replaced? Hell yeah, dude.
Exactly.
I'm gonna still drink.
Well, I mean, like they get put on a pedestal, and I think you get people like Harlan Wheatley, and Harlan Wheatley's, I mean, nothing against him. He's just not like he's not an extrovert. He's just like
he's like a scientific minded guy. And
I mean, he loves his job, and he knows he's like, I'm supposed to do this and this, and but then you got people now like PR has become such a big thing, and I think the Kentucky Bourbon Festival is trying to like curb that with some brands. I mean, like Brent Elliott's, he's great with people, and like I love Chris Morris, but he's not like a huge.
Sure, I get it.
He's not going to go knock door to door and sell bourbon. He's just not. But some people will. But
I think that's a good thing too with the festival. Like we went to the tasting thing with 1792.
Yeah,
and their
with
master
Danny,
distiller. Yeah,
Danny
and
Conn.
if you're there and you're a bourbon enthusiast and you know everything about bourbon, you think you know everything about bourbon. I've done my own distilling, but then like when we were sitting there and we were nosing 5 different things, kind of through the aging process. The first one was 2 weeks old.
2 weeks old. Yeah.
And I nosed it. And I was like, oh, that smells awful. But then he made it a point to say, I'm not distilling my new make to sell it today.
Right.
And so I was like, oh, okay. So that's that's something new that because like Buffalo Trace sells new make.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that the new make that they're putting in the barrels? Or is that something different that they're cleaning up?
That's
because
true.
He said a lot of the things that you would clean out of it to sell it today, you need it in the barrel for the aging process.
For the maturation process. That's a good
you
point,
learn
man.
things like that. And I think it's really interesting that you get to see the kind of the behind the scenes. Like I was at an event before with Harlan Wheatley, and someone asked him, they were like, when you have your friends come over outside of work and they're, coming over to play cards, what do you guys drink? And he said Benchmark. And I'm like, excuse me?
That's what he likes, man. I mean,
out of everything you distill at Buffalo Trace that you have access to, and but that's it's interesting when you get them.
I mean, you having friends over to play cards. I mean, 80 proof,
sure,
3+ year old. I mean, it's easy
and it's good. It's not bad bourbon at all. But
if he's a smart man, he's drinking the 80 proof, and in another bottle of Benchmark, he's got like 140 something that he's given to his buddies.
Yeah. So, guys, let's talking about bourbon. Let's jump back to the Elijah Craig. What do you think, Philip?
It's good. It's too easy drinking for 133 proof, in my opinion.
That is no doubt. Chad, what about you? What do you get? Palate finish? What do you think?
Same. On the palate, you get a lot of graham cracker, toasted marshmallow. It's very campfire-y. It's like sweet milk chocolate, little peanut. Like that's like salted peanut. A lot of oak, tobacco, leather. And it's like a very when I think of leather, it's almost like an artificial like candle leather. I know we were talking about candles earlier, but it's really good. It drinks way older than 13. It almost hits me like a 20-year-old bourbon. It's got a lot of oak, a lot of tannins. It's dry. I can't believe you like it and you're drinking more than one pour.
I know.
But like
it's all up here,
it seriously hits me like a 20-year-old bourbon. It's probably one of my favorite batches I've had in several years.
It's really good.
If people out there that has tried like the JTS Brown, this is JTS Brown on steroids. Like if you like that, then this bottle you're gonna be like, oh my god, this is what it's supposed to be. Yeah, this is the finished product. This is what. Yeah,
Matt, what do you think?
I get a lot of cinnamon right up front.
Yeah.
I think some of that spice comes through, some of the heat through on cinnamon. And there's like a toasty flavor, kind of butter toast. Nice age that lends through on that. The oak, leather, tobacco, good cherry notes as well. A little bit of like a sweet stone fruit finish, like chocolatey fig Newton type. Type finish with it as well. Just really savory. Certainly not doesn't pack the punch that it says it does.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. 133 proof. I'm like, I can't get. Yeah, that's crazy. So another thing I can't get over is the fact it's 13 year 7 month for $75. Of course, it will be more expensive retail, right? But still, even if it's $85 or $90. And I'm thinking the William Heaven Hill, which yes, it does taste better, but it's a 15-year-old Heaven Hill product.
For $249.
For $299 or $289.
Yeah. Oh, was it $300?
It was. Yep.
If you're setting them beside each other, it's no question you're going to grab this.
For
the taste and the price.
For the taste and the price.
For sure.
Yeah, man. So
fixture.
This is a fixture, and I'm going to load up probably track down as many of these bottles.
Well,
as
I went to
can,
Liquor Barn today, and they didn't have shit. So
Hey, but we love you, Liquor Barn, because you're our sponsor.
It just seems like whenever Mark walks in there, there's an ECB.
Because I get the chicken salad sandwich. So
When's the
if you
next
get-
in-person release?
If
Come
you
on,
get
Brad.
the chicken salad sandwich,
Get
then
together.
You get
Let's-
the bottles with it. All right, guys. Trying to think. We wrapped it up Saturday. We weren't there Sunday. The Czech Liver Light came on Saturday night.
Yeah, Sunday I had 5 guys with a bag of French fries.
Oh man.
And like apple pie. So I had my stomach and my
Yeah.
kidneys and my liver had to that needed carbs and oil. So
Yeah. There you go. So final thoughts on this one. Everybody's obviously thumbs up on this
yeah,
one.
fixture.
For sure. Cool.
Yeah. Hold on. It's the first show we've had all 3 fixtures.
Yeah, all unanimously.
all 3
Exactly right. Yeah.
and like 5
12 thumbs all around, I think.
4 or 5 crew episodes. We've never had all 3 fixtures.
Kind of crazy.
So yeah, it's a wild. So
it's a
quite
weird
a
mix
spread.
of stuff.
yeah, we got
American
7-year-old
single
single
malt,
malt and 99 proof, contract source distilled, and then 13 7-month 133
Yeah,
like
man.
wild spread.
People might think we know what we're talking about.
I doubt it.
Either that or we just discredited ourselves.
Yeah.
That may be the key right there. So, guys, all right, I'm just trying to think. Was there anything else? We covered everything. Next year, Kentucky Bourbon Festival, be there. We'll be
What is
there.
it, the 13th through the 15th?
I think that's the
next
day.
year.
And
Yeah, 13th
I
and
will be we will all be going every day. We'll be pacing ourselves. We will be making sure that we are
Tell
traveling
that one down
safe.
there, man. No disco. No disco, man.
I say,
Well, that's a good point.
Yeah.
We had a designated driver. So we were not, we were having a good time, but my wife went with us every day, and she was our designated driver. So even though Matt didn't drink on Saturday, and I did a little bit, not as much as Friday, but obviously we had Anita to drive us back and forth. So
next year Anita's like, I want to get crazy.
Yeah. So obviously you want to drink responsibly, right? You don't want to be stupid. You definitely don't want to be driving if you're
And
not drinking.
it would be easily doable to over pour yourself
Sure.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind when you go
Yeah,
to
I think that's a good.
pace yourself.
It's fun to have fun. There's no doubt about it, and that's what we go to have fun. We don't go to work. We take some videos. We take some pictures. Well, you go to work, so sorry, but Matt and I don't go to work. You don't feel
I
to
didn't,
go to
right,
work.
I was
Yeah,
not
so
there to
we're
work,
just
so-
we're just there
Yeah,
to have
Saturday I
fun,
did
so-
have to work, but
Yeah, but we still have a good time. So final thoughts, guys, before we wrap it up. Send it home, Philip. I'll start with you. Anything?
If you're not from Kentucky and you want to experience Kentucky bourbon, come to the Bourbon Festival. That would be September's a great month to be here. Weather-wise, it's usually pretty comfortable, and it's a good time to come and check everything out.
Well said, Chad. What about you, man? Anything? Final thoughts?
Heaven Hill would like to remind you to think wisely and drink wisely.
Oh, there you go. I like that. Very good, Matt.
Hey, to all our listeners, morning, noon, or night, whenever it is you get your Bourbon Life podcast, we thank you. We kept it responsible. We had a designated driver. We hope you're doing the same.
Wow, that's awesome. I'm going to thank all of our sponsors. Thank you again, all of our sponsors, for everything you do for us. We appreciate it. We obviously couldn't do the show without your help and support. So thank you guys for what you do.
I'll start a company called
Also
All My
want to
Sponsors.
thank all of want to thank all of our listeners. We appreciate you guys. Like Matt said, whatever time of day it is you're listening to us, we appreciate you guys tuning in. And that was another good thing about the festival. Real quick, I just want to say I loved people that came up and talked to us about the podcast and how much they enjoyed listening to it. It just reaffirms what we do, because I love doing it and have a great time doing this with you guys and with Matt every week. But it's just nice when you have people that come up that you don't know that say, I listen to your show. I love it. You guys do a great job. Keep it up. I really appreciate that. So thank you guys that did that. If you're listening, we really appreciate you all coming up and giving us those words of encouragement and support. And we just appreciate all you guys that are fans and listeners and everything that you do for us as well. If you want to reach out to us, you can find us, of course, on Instagram at The Bourbon Life and also on Facebook as The Bourbon Life. Please join our private Facebook group, The Bourbon Lifers. We'd love to have you in there. Have a lot of good conversations going on, so join that. You can
Can I
email.
interrupt for a second? Can I do my Big Chief impression?
Go right ahead.
We don't do any reselling or any marketing in there,
And there you go. That's right.
but it is a great group of people.
There you go.
All right, that's all I got.
If you're on Instagram, hit me up, Bourbon Hunting KY.
There you go.
At Medley Bourbon.
Matt.
Nope.
I'm gonna set
Matt
up a
is
fake.
not on social media.
I'm setting up a fake Matt Instagram account, not Matt Hughes. I'm going to do it. I'm going to find a picture of him with that leisure suit and that ruffle shirt, and that's going to be the profile picture. But again, we just thank you guys for listening and tuning in. We really appreciate it. Thanks for joining us, and hope to see you guys next year. If we don't see you before then, hope to see you at next year's Kentucky Bourbon Festival. And with that said, I'm going to wrap it up, send us home with our tagline, which is, may your glasses always be full, and may you keep on living the bourbon life.
Cue the violin.
Thank you for joining us for this week's episode of the Bourbon Life Podcast. Our mission at the Bourbon Life is simple: to share our passion for all things bourbon with you every week. And we'd really love to hear your thoughts on how we're doing. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at The Bourbon Life. You can also contact us by email at thebourbonlife@gmail.com. And you can always find us on your favorite podcast platform. If you have a moment, we'd love it if you would rate us and give us a review. So until next week, we hope your glass is always full and that you keep on living the bourbon life.